What is the Washington Consensus? It is a set of policies advocated by the world's leading financial institutions, namely the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the US Treasuries, and the likes. And these institutions adopted economic thinkings that had risen out of a school of thought, economic school of thought called the Chicago School in the 1960s. And one of the things that they argue for is the lessening of government role in the economy and a much more elaborate role of the private sector in terms of economic well-being. In addition to that, they teach sort of economic thinking that advocates for austerity, like less spending, less government spending, so a reduction of things like welfare, and also the supremacy of the market. Now, let the market decide things, and the government should take a second role on economic matters. So that's pretty much what the Washington Consensus is. It's the agreement that this model of economic thinking is the best for developing countries to steer themselves towards economic development. It focuses a lot more on GDP growth and less on economic development. These are two different things. I'll illustrate a little bit. And the key tenets of Washington Consensus is embedded on economic policy called neoliberalism. And neoliberalism is relative to liberalism. And in liberalism is laissez-faire, the economic models which preaches the market as central in economic calculation and economic choices. Neoliberalism is the inclusion of liberal economics, but with an added role of the government to support foreign direct investment, to create conducive environment for commerce to take place. Now, it is new because in all liberalism, the government is pretty much absent, according to Adam Smith. In neoliberalism, the government is there to facilitate commerce, but not to be engaged in the business of commerce and economic activities. I hope that's clear. Now, it is increasingly a free market economy in a neoliberal system, and that everything is up for sale. A second thing is that it's really state role in the attraction of foreign direct investment, in construction of facilitative infrastructure, in establishment of rule of law and protection of private property, but the government is not engaged as a business enterprise. A key part of it is also the increasing role of the individual self-drive. Here we're talking about ambition, people's ambition, selfish drive. What makes you wake up to make money, to be better than how your father was? Neoliberal economics focuses on that, the self as a driver in growth, rather than the government making those decisions to facilitate your well-being. Another key tenet of it is financial liberalization, the ability of capital, that is the factor of resource that could flow from one area to another. So like an investor from New York could invest in Singapore, Brazil, South Africa, anywhere. Financial liberalization as a key tenet is one of the reasons why globalization took off right after the neoliberal reforms. So what leads to the Washington Consensus?